It's been a while since I've given you an update on what I've been doing with my my home-built router, and I thought I'd better catch up on that. One of the things that I wanted to look at was to see if I could 3D print a DIN rail, 35mm DIN rail. And what I had heard is that it's pretty hard to do this because it's very easy for it to fracture, but by printing it in an upright position you get the maximum strength up and down, and that seemed to be all right once I did a little bit of testing. So to start off, I found a model on Onshape and then modified that to suit my needs and did a small run, 100mm pieces, to test them, and that worked fine. And after that, then I modified that to do 250mm pieces. From memory, my 3D printer will do 256mm. And it actually has worked out surprisingly well. I haven't broken anything yet, and I've had some heavy parts attached to it. So let's just move along with this. So let's head on down to the shed and see if I can put a bit more of this machine together and wire up some of the electronics. So let's see you down there.
So I haven't tried this before, but what I want to do is mount this EMI filter, which is a good quality dual filtered system, and I want to mount it on a DIN rail. And I've got this, I found some nice little things that'll work perfectly, nice little 3D printed tools, and hopefully these will, I had to modify it, extend this down and modify it, and it's designed for a couple of threads, which I've never done before, so we'll just see how we go with this. So it seems like I selected the appropriate filter, the appropriate little insert. It doesn't want to go in straight there, but I think it will with a little bit of heat, so I need to put one there and one there. So let's see how we go. I got this little kit with various different sized inserts for a Hakko, soldering irons, which I've got here. So I'll set that up inside here so that I can let it get cool. I'll get hot, and let's see if it's possible to do this without a so that went in simple as. This one too should go in the same way. I can't believe how easy that was. The hard bit will be finding an M3 screw. I had a box of these sitting here that I bought once when I saw them at a bolt shop, being almost thrown out, so I decided to buy them. I guess 100 here, M3, but they were hex head, which is probably a little bit interesting, so we'll see how we go. But they will fit, so I think all I need to do is screw them in. Yeah, a little bit long, can't you see that? We'll fix that at the end. I'll just clip them off once I get them through. So I won't bore you with this, I might go and find a little spanner. Well, this seemed to work alright. Might be able to put it over there. Light's not very good here. So I just need to clip these on, which I should be able to just do with ordinary wire cutters. Man, that's soft as with a good pair of wire cutters. There we go. That's definitely mild steel. So now I have that there, and then we can slip it onto the, which end do I want it? This end. I should be able to just clip it on. Perfect. Nice and neat. Now I've got another one of these to do as well, but I'll do that another time. Excellent. So we're a little bit further down the track. We have mains power coming in here, neutral, live, earth, and we're going to come out here. I've got a bit more hardware to add to this, so I've got some additional terminals here. So we should follow the live through first. The live will come through here and go up around through this section here of the filter, EMI filter, and then it'll come out here, go through a switch, a breaker on the live, and then out here and into our mains terminal, into our 24 volt. It's an MD, I don't know if you can see that, MDR 6024, so 60 watts, 24 volts, so 2448, so a bit over 3 volts, a bit under 3 amps, and then the earth goes back here, and then the power goes back through the neutral, back through to the other side of the filter, and then back out to the mains. And over on this side, on the low voltage, now we've got 24 volts. I've got this cool little gadget from Mesa which saves a lot of room. This is a Comex 12, so there's 2 lots of 12 common terminals. So if we put our mains, our 24 volt power onto here, onto plus and minus, so 24 volts negative, we can then distribute it around as we need it. So the very first thing, so they come through here and here, and the very first thing we need to do is to take power from the Comex 2 over to the Ethercat terminal here. So hopefully this will all work. And if I turn you on, we know that we get, what have I got? I've got a power and a run, but there's no Ethernet connection here yet, so Ethercat connection. So this is the second one of these I bought, and just a heads up, don't buy anything that doesn't have the Ethercat signal on it. I had to return it to Alibaba and they sent it back, and I bought this one, which there's a little bit of info on the forum, including manuals for it. So I bought this one, and hopefully we've got 16 inputs, 16 outputs, an encoder input, RS485. I don't know if I'll be able to play with that with Linux CNC or not. A couple of PWMs and a couple of analog inputs, and I think there's analog outputs somewhere too. So there we go. So that's our little terminal. So I've got my 3D printed DIN rail working. Then I've got my little VFD that I've got here. Hopefully I can put that on here. Not a very strong grip. And then I've got a $6 breaker here. This is the 16 amp breaker, and this draws 12 amps, so that should work. And then I've got another one of my EMI filters, so we'll put that on here, and so that should work. Now I need to, see, that's lying in. I think I might turn this around. But there we go. People have said that these plastic DIN rails won't hold up, but we'll just see how we go. Save me going around grabbing one, so for now. So there we go, time to wire that up. So I need to take some, I know what, I can use this wire here. I just need to bring that around to here. So, and I need a switch, so one of these wires needs to go through the switch. And then around here, and the other one will come around here. So I'll get that wired up. So that's all wired up now. So we've got the mains lead coming in here, earth running around here up to the machine, live wire coming through here on this side. This says the load is on this side, so that's good. And the return, the neutral is blue, so it's going to come from here back around here to complete the circuit. And I've got a little bit of Cat6 network cable here, and I've stripped back one pair, and that's what we're going to use to connect to the we're going to use that to connect here. So I might take this upstairs now and we'll work on it from there.
I've got this up in my office here now, and I've got it all sitting here on my desk beside me, and this is the bit that we just wired up this morning, and it's now also wired into this. So I guess I can turn that on with the magic switch, and I might as well turn the other one on with the magic switch. Now and you can see that the little DIN rail's doing its job, holding everything together, nothing's broken. And I spent an inordinate amount of time here trying to get Modbus working from this device here over via this wire here. And what I got it working once with one register, and then I got really excited about that because I spent a long time getting it working, and then I had to put another dozen or so registers on it to pull out, and by the time I did that it wasn't working. So I'm hoping it's just a timeout error, and if that's the case, there's a fairly easy fix for it by modifying some of the parameters in here. It's quite confusing how this works. There are some SDOs in here, a series of 8, and each one of those has 8 sub-indexes, and what happens is that each one of those 8 blocks of SDOs defines a register to read, and then there's another 8 that defines a register to write, and then they get assigned to a pin, so or a PDO. So then what happens is that you define everything in this, and then you can bring it across to, I don't know if I've got the computer on. No, I haven't. So this is the XML file for it now. Most of this has already been set on the forum, but this section here is new. And down here we have all these, I've now got all these pins. So read and write pins are here. And what happens, and I found I had to do this in a separate script. So in this file here, I'm using the Ethercat download command to set all these up. So all of those pins that we saw need to be configured, and the main thing is that the actual register number is here, and that sets them up. And some of them are set up on 2602.1 and 2603 are the two. So these are the writable ones and these are the readable ones, and the registers are something like what the type is, what the Modbus type is, the Now I also want to encourage everybody to head over to my website, MrRodW, and MrRodW.au, and there you'll find some additional resources and ways to support this channel. And it's important for me to receive a little bit of help along the way, because this is quite an expensive project, so I really don't have any funds available to finish this off. So everything so far has been funded by the generosity of people on the channel. So you can buy me a coffee, or you can subscribe on a monthly basis to MrRodW.au, and there's a couple of different levels there. And also I've got a Discord server which connects then to those levels. So at different membership levels I can provide a greater level of service to people through than what I can on YouTube. So please support the channel.